Alright folks, hair's a little crazy. I just got back from a run and I was thinking about suspense and I wanted to make this video right away. There's a simple technique to generate suspense, to get your readers turning pages, staying up late, and most importantly, telling all their friends how exciting and thrilling your book is. They couldn't put it down, they had to know what happened next. And the technique is simple. It's this. Tell your reader what's gonna happen next. Alright, so this video was partly inspired by this other video about Minority Report. It's more for movie script writers, right? Link to that video in the description, and I'll try and put it, on the screen somewhere here. And that video talks about the movie Minority Report, not the novel by Philip K. Dick. Philip K. Dick, great writer, knows what he's doing, has some interesting things to say, but the novella of Minority Report doesn't have that same just intense, driving plot that the movie does. And that's because the movie tells you what's going to happen next, and it's this inconceivable thing that you're like, no way, that can't happen. And the character thinks the exact same thing. So what is it? Well, first I have to tell you the premise. So the premise of Minority Report is that in this sci-fi future world, crimes can be predicted and prevented before they happen. Now, it's important that this system be accurate. Otherwise, innocent people are going to be, punished for crimes they weren't going to commit. And Tom Cruise's character, whose name is absolutely forgettable, so I'm just going to keep calling him Tom Cruise, but the character. Tom Cruise is a true believer. He's a big hotshot at this police agency, the pre-crime agency, right? They stop crime before it happens. He's a true believer that the system works. It is infallible. It always is correct. All right, so the movie shows a crime being predicted, crime being prevented. Great. Everybody's got the premise in their head. So then another crime is predicted. But this crime is committed by Tom Cruise's character. And it's not just any crime, but a premeditated murder of a man that he's never even met. And it's supposed to occur in like a really short time frame, like in the next 24 hours, right? That's what sets the movie on fire. Because suddenly, this impossible thing we've been told is going to happen. And is it? How? Like, what even sequence of events could possibly lead up to that event happening? We have so many questions, and we want to find out what's going to happen next. Now, of course, immediately, Tom Cruise, goes on the run from the law. He's trying to clear his name. You know the drill. But it's an excellent movie. It's got Spielberg involved. If you've never seen it, go watch it. I'm not going to spoil it. But one thing that annoys me about so many video essays is video essays for writers, they're always talking about movies. But what about writing? And so that brings me to Wool by Hugh Howie. Now, Wool was recently made into a TV series for Apple TV. I haven't watched it. I don't have Apple TV. I'm probably not going to watch it. But I'm not going to spoil anything. I don't know anything about the TV show. I just kind of wanted to mention that. So that exists. That's kind of cool. But Wool does an excellent job in writing of building suspense using that same technique. Telling the reader what is going to happen next. And it being this inconceivable, impossible thing where you're like, well, that can't happen. So I got to figure out how it doesn't happen, how it goes instead of the way we were told. Why? How's the character going to get out of this? And of course that's involved, right? There's always that element of how does our hero make it, right? But there's more to it than that. It's not just, threaten the hero and then, figure out what's going to happen next. Tell the reader exactly how the threat is going to play out and have established in your universe, this is the way things work, which both Minority Report the movie and Wool by Hugh Howie does. So in this book, what the reader is told is that the protagonist is going to be sent outside of the silo. The silo is basically a big underground bunker where people have survived some sort of apocalypse, right? And when you go outside, it's a death sentence. All right, the environment outside is totally toxic. The hazard suit that they give you is real flimsy. It just falls apart in the first 5 minutes. And so the main character is going to be sent outside. And so that's a death sentence. And you're like, well, can they kill the main character? Like, seems like this can't possibly happen. So immediately we have these questions like, are they going to survive? How are they going to survive? What the hell's going to happen next? And not only that, but the story has built up that maybe what's outside isn't what we've been told is outside. So what's really out there? And there's questions on top of that one. So everybody that goes outside cleans the external cameras. So there's just some viewing cameras outside the silo to see the outside world. And it's just this desolate apocalypse landscape. And people always say like, oh, I'm not gonna go clean the cameras. Like, screw you guys, right? You sentenced me to death. Like, I'm not gonna clean your damn cameras. And then they do. They end up cleaning the cameras. So there's this other question. It's been established in the minds of the characters, and I think that's an important detail to this telling the reader what's going to happen next, is let the characters ruminate on this a little bit. Not too much. Rumination can be pretty boring, but let the characters raise some of these additional questions. What goes through people's heads that makes them want to clean these cameras when the only people that benefit are the people that sentence them to death? We, the reader, are promised that we're going to find out the answer to all these questions. And perhaps that's the most key point. Telling the reader, I will answer these questions for you. One issue is, well, how do you answer the question in a satisfying way? And one answer to that I'm going to give is go back and watch my video about yes, but, or no, and, where you do answer the question. It's this or it's this. But there's a twist to it as well. And the twist involves the character in some way. With Minority Report and with Wool, a key feature is that the thing that is predicted to happen is personal, right? It affects the life of this main character. And the Minority Report one is particularly good, without spoiling anything. It also gets to the heart of what is most important to this character. There's a powerful moment in that movie where Tom Cruise's character, I should just keep calling him Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise says to himself and to the audience, they were right. I am going to murder this man. And it's this intense, cool moment where you're like, wow, the events between him being told that he's going to commit the murder and this moment, yeah, it makes perfect sense how he would get there. And it makes perfect sense that he's going to murder this dude. But is that really what's going to happen? Crimes can be prevented in this universe, right? It gets the central theme of that movie is, do we have free will or not, basically? That might be the central theme. I don't know. Anyway, it's a good movie. Go watch it. Now, one other thing I want to say related to Wool and to Minority Report is this prediction, this telling the reader of what's going to happen next. It is not cheating to leave out information. It is not cheating to do that. Now, we want to foreshadow it, right? We want the reader to look back in hindsight and be like, you know what? I could have seen that coming. I see the breadcrumb trail leading up to this fact that even though I was told how things were going to play out, the world was not exactly as I was told. There was something different. There was something that I didn't understand about the world that made it so that, it doesn't actually play out exactly the way it was predicted. That is not cheating, all right? That's just good storytelling. I think also that writers should chill out about the thing that happens being like some crazy unexpected thing. That's not what we want, right? If writers learn anything from season 8 of Game of Thrones, it's that being unpredictable is less interesting to a reader, to a viewer, than being consistent, than showing a character having an arc, than reaching the destination that you said this character was going to reach. Now, how they get there should be some interesting things along the way. But one of the things we all hate about season 8 of Game of Thrones was that characters just behaved completely opposite of the way that their experience had been training them, had been changing them to be better or worse people. Everything just got flipped around because, there were predictions on the internet and the showrunners were like, well, we can't do anything that people predicted, even though those predictions were really solid advice or, you know, really well told stories. We want to see the character complete an arc. You know, if it's a tragedy, have the character fail. But if it's not a tragedy, have the character, like, live and succeed, right? We're not, like, upset by... I say this in another video of mine at some point. Expectations can be either subverted or they can be satisfied. Satisfied is a positive word. It is a good thing to sometimes satisfy expectations. All right, at the risk of repeating myself, the technique is tell the reader what's going to happen next. Have it be this just like wild, inconceivable thing. Have other mysteries be tied around it, and make it personal for your character. And also do resolve it. Answer the question of what happens next. And you can subvert expectations and you can satisfy expectations. And what's more important than whether you do one of those two things is how you do it, making it believable based on your universe, based on your character, based on the things that you foreshadowed, and making it personal to that character. Now, one last thing I want to say is that this is not the only way to generate suspense and reader interest. I think, again, of Game of Thrones. I think of George R.R. Martin's writing, both of the show and of the books. And spoilers, I guess, for, you know, like the first 2 or 3 seasons of Game of Thrones and the first... I did read the books, but it was like ages ago. For the first couple books. These books came out. Anyway, this is old news, so it's not really spoilers. We're told what's going to happen next. And it doesn't happen. But it's a different thing than the way it's done with Wool or Minority Report. Because we're told something nice is going to happen next. We're told something that like seems very reasonable and like good for all parties involved is going to happen next. We're told that Ned Stark is accused of treason, and it's okay, though, because Joffrey is going to pardon him at the last minute. It's going to reconcile the two houses of Lannister and Stark. There's not going to be a war. Everybody's best interest is satisfied, and it's going to be totally fine. That's where the reader is told what's going to happen next, but it's not inconceivable. It's very conceivable and seems very rational, and everybody's just like, yeah, that seems like a good idea. And then Joffrey caves to the bloodlust of the crowd and is like off with his head. But in hindsight, we're like, oh yeah, we should have seen that coming. Joffrey's a psychopath. He's a young kid. He's swayed by popular opinion. Like, obviously, he's going to kill Ned Stark, right? And then that launches, of course, the plot off into, well, now there's going to be a war, and all this other bad stuff is going to happen, all right? So in this one, the reader is told something very reasonable that's going to happen, and then it doesn't, and it goes horribly, horribly wrong. It occurs to me that both of these techniques, the tell the reader what's going to happen and it's crazy bad, inconceivable, how's that going to turn out? Or the tell the reader what's going to happen, it's very mild and polite and subdues the conflict, and then of course that doesn't happen, everything goes wrong, relates back to the yes, but, no, and. So the yes, but is, yes, this good thing happened, but now we face this other obstacle. The no, and is, well, no, we didn't succeed, and now there's this like worse challenge ahead of us, right? So these are just sort of basic techniques for raising stakes, raising that suspense. Okay, at this point, I feel that I've definitely covered my points, and I'm rambling, and I didn't have a script anyway, so I will wrap it up there, but hopefully that's useful to you. I'm excited to look at my writing and think about where I can use some of these techniques. Where can I tell the reader, this is what's going to happen next. I've established this is the world. And the reader being like, wow, man, I don't think that can happen. Like, I better read on and find out how it's actually going to play out. It's like, oh, yeah. If you hear the dog's tail whacking against my chair, it's because Doggy just got back from her walk. Joffrey's a psychopath, right? He's a psychopath. He's a young kid.